Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the BCP Licensing Subcommittee. The first item on this morning's agenda is the election of chair, and I seek nominations for the position, please.
Can I nominate Councillor Flagg?
Thank you, Councillor Williams.
Can I second Councillor Flagg?
Thank you, Councillor Howell. Right, housekeeping, please.
Thank you. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by the Council for live broadcast and will be published on the Council's website for a minimum of 6 months. The meeting may also be recorded or streamed for live or subsequent broadcast by members of the public, although ultimate discretion in this matter lies with the Chair in case of disruption. For those in the room, please note that if the fire alarm sounds, please exit the building by way of your nearest available signed fire exit route and make your way to the assembly point at the War Memorial in the gardens opposite the front of the building in Bourne Avenue. Finally, please ensure background noise is kept to a minimum and mobile phones and other devices are turned off or switched to silent for the duration of this meeting. For those in the room, that includes turning off microphones and turning the volume down completely on your laptops. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2, apologies. I'm fairly certain that as we're all here, there's no apologies this morning. Item 3, declarations of interest. Members, do we have any declarations of interest with regard to the items on this morning's agenda? Councillor Williams?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Howe?
None.
Thank you. And I have none myself. Item 4, protocol for public speaking at hearings. A protocol for public speaking at meetings of the Licensing Subcommittee is included with the agenda sheet for noting. Item 5, application for a premises licence under the Gambling Act 2005 at Prime Time Slots, 209 Ashley Road, Poole, BH149DR. I will now ask each participant to introduce themselves and state their role. I'm Councillor David Flagg, elected for this morning's chair for this morning's meeting.
I'm Councillor Lawrence Williams, member of the subcommittee.
Councillor Mark Howell, member of the subcommittee.
Thank you, members. We're also joined this morning by Councillor Anne Filer and Councillor Judy Richardson, who are the reserved members for this meeting. They're not required to participate. However, they may remain in the room to observe and for training purposes. BCP Council, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Joanne McNamara and I'm the legal advisor to the subcommittee today.
Thank you. I'm Sinead O'Callaghan. I'm the clerk to the subcommittee today.
I'm Ellie King, BCP Council Licensing Officer.
Thank you. For the applicants, please.
I'm Phil Cook, Director of Primetime Slots.
I'm Jordan Baden and I'm also Director of Primetime Slots.
Thank you. And objecting, please, Councillor.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Sandra Macrae, Newtown and Heatherlands Ward.
Thank you. Before I run through the procedure, please may I check that all persons who have given notice of their intention to speak have been identified, and any person who wishes to withdraw a representation or indeed wishes not to speak has been identified. If there are no comments, I will take this as correct. Thank you. I will now explain the proposed procedure and order of speaking for the hearing as follows. The licensing officer presents the report. Questions of the licensing officer by all parties, members of the subcommittee to go first. The applicant will then make their application. Questions of the applicant by all parties, members of the subcommittee to go first. Objectors will then make their representations. Questions of the persons objecting by all parties, members of the subcommittee to go first. All parties will be given an opportunity to sum up, with the party who spoke last to go first. The hearing will then conclude. The subcommittee will deliberate in private with the legal advisor and clerk present. Notification of the subcommittee's decision will be given within the period of 5 working days, beginning with the day or the last day on which the hearing was held. The notification of decision will include information about the right of appeal as appropriate. I will now ask all parties to confirm agreement on the proposed procedure or make representations. Philip Cook, you happy with that?
Yes, thank you.
Jordan Basing,
Yep, it's fine.
Councillor Macro,
Yes, thank you.
thank you. Joe McNamara
Thank you, Chair, yes.
and Ellie King.
Thank you, Chair, yes.
Thank you. Please may I remind all parties that speaking not to repeat the information which has already been given in writing, but to expand on their written representations. All questions will be asked through the chair and there will be no cross-examination of parties. I will now ask the licensing officer to present the report. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and members. This report relates to an application submitted by Primetime Slots Limited for a new adult gaming centre premises licence at 209 Ashley Road, Poole. The application has been made under the Gambling Act 2005 and seeks permission for the premises to operate as an adult gaming centre. The application originally proposed opening hours of 9 AM to 11 PM 7 days a week. Following consultation, no representations were received from responsible authorities. However, representations have been received from 4 local ward councillors. The concerns raised relate primarily to the applicant's local area risk assessment and whether granting the application would be consistent with the licensing objective of protecting children and other vulnerable persons from being harmed or exploited by gambling. In response to those representations, the applicant has provided further information about the proposed management and operation of the premises and has also offered to reduce the proposed operating hours to 10 AM to 10 PM, 7 days a week. Members will find full details in the report pack, including the supplementary information that was published yesterday. Members are reminded that under the Gambling Act 2005, the authority must aim to permit the use of the premises for gambling where it is satisfied that the application is reasonably consistent with the licensing objectives, the Gambling Commission's guidance and the Council's statement of licensing principles. Members are therefore asked to consider the application, the representations received, the applicant's response and the information before them today and determine whether to grant the licence as applied for, grant the licence subject to appropriate conditions or refuse the application. If the licence is granted and concerns arise about the operation of the premises in the future, the licence may be subject to review by a responsible authority or any other person. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, do you have any questions at all for the officer? Councillor Williams.
Thank you. Good morning. This is very rare for this kind of application to come before us. How many applications do you get a year on average of this type that are not brought to the committee?
I personally have been on the team since 2021 and this is the first application that I've seen.
Thank you very much.
I just have one question. In the pack presented by the applicant, the risk assessment, part of the risk assessment shows a graphic of households in Pen Hill not deprived in any dimension. I just wanted to ask what weight members should consider with regards to this image, and I wonder why that image is being shown and if there is images available for the other areas, in particular the area where the application is. I just wondered why they've not been included.
So the local area risk assessment is the risk assessment. So to be in a position to operate, to apply for the premises licence, they need to hold an operator's licence with the Gambling Commission, and the LARA, the local area risk assessment, is part of that application. And I believe that is this local area risk assessment that's been submitted with this application was the one that was submitted to the Gambling Commission. and that it forms part of the application. It has to form part of the application.
Thank you for that. Councillor Macro, do you have any questions at all for the officer before I move forward?
No, not present, thank you.
Thank you. And do you have any questions at all for the officer?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank you. In which case, then I'll move on and ask you if you'd kindly address the committee, please.
Good morning. So to summarise, really, I think a lot of the information we've put into our the risk assessment and the response to the objection. On the side of the concern with the children and vulnerable people, we believe this is covered within the gambling licence, which was granted earlier in the year, where we have our responsibilities to ensure that people under the age of 18 do not enter the premises. We will be operating a Check 25 identification at all times in the premises. Also, we've have a self-exclusion operation in place. So if vulnerable people wish to self-exclude, and the staff will be trained in a way to ensure that that all persons on the premises are doing the looked after in the correct manner, and also with regards to the concerns of children passing the venue. The windows are boarded over, so people can't look in. There is a wall at the entrance, so people can't look in. On the wall as you enter the premises will be the Check 25 protocol, to ensure that people who shouldn't be entering the premises aren't entering the premises. Unlike other places within the community where we've gone the extra step to ensure that you can't see within the premises from the street scene, which we think is incredibly important. With regards to the part in the risk assessment with regards to the ward, we concentrated on the ward that the premises sits within, which was then granted again, which is included in the gambling application, and the Gambling Commission granted the licence upon that. While I understand the councillor's objection on the area of the regarding deprivation and the statement of the quality of the housing and the HMOs and so forth in the area, in the Pen Hill ward there are a number of HMOs, so I believe it's a like-for-like comparison, whereas I know the homes in the Pen Hill area are of a larger size, perhaps less site density. Our responsibilities under our gambling licence, whether we would be in the most deprived area of the country or the most affluent area of the country, our responsibilities are the same. And the area is not in general an area of deprivation compared to other areas within BCP. And this area that we have chosen for this location has been chosen very carefully after a lot of research. Just trying to think what else the councillor brought up. I think really that really covers where we are. But the Gambling Commission, I just would like to reiterate, the Gambling Commission has granted the licence, and within the operating licence, we have procedures and protocols to ensure that we adhere to the Check 25, the self-exclusion if required, and permitting or prohibiting vulnerable people and underage people entering the premises. It is an entertainment venue as well. These machines that we will be having in the premises, if the application is successful, are in clubs, are in pubs, are in casinos, are in bingo halls where alcohol is consumed. We won't have alcohol consumed. It'll be a controlled environment, a safer environment, and a smaller environment where staff will be able to monitor the patrons at all times. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Members, do you have any questions for the applicant? Councillor Williams, please.
Just a housekeeping question. Will there be CCTV involved?
Yes, there will be, and it will be as per our gambling license. It will be kept for 30 days. As per the licensing, alcohol licensing side of it, it'd be a 30-day CCTV recorded onto hard drive. Thank you.
Thanks.
Councillor Howell?
Yes. Do we leave any questions related to the objectors' correspondence to later, or can I raise those now?
Is it a question to the objector or a question
to the applicant? Yeah. So the objectors pointed out that you've missed 3 schools that were quite obviously in the local area of your risk assessment. How did that happen?
So this is where we're advised that to only include the ward that the premises was located in, and hence why the Gambling Commission passed on that side of it. There is a school closer to the premises that was in the risk assessment, but the general wherever the schools are, wherever the children passing, it's the same scenario whether if the schools are next door, the schools are 5 miles away, the premises, and which is I find incredibly important, which again I reiterate other venues haven't done, you cannot see inside, you cannot look, so it prohibits children to see. So whether they were in very local vicinity or far away, any children passing cannot look inside the venue and be influenced on that side of it.
Licensing objective says, I can't remember the exact words, but essentially relates to harm being caused to children through gambling. Doesn't say that it's when that they have to be the people that are gambling. It could be that they are around an institution, premises that has gambling and gamblers in its proximity. So it does seem odd that you would be advised that you wouldn't include schools, and because clearly the closer you are to school, well, the more children are going to be passing your premises, whatever it is. Who advised you to only use the postcode?
We're advised by the Gambling Commission to include the location ward only.
Okay. I have another question, which is, could you describe how the frontage will look?
So the premises was previously a bank, and the front facing Ashley Road has been split into 3 units. We are have taken the third unit, which is on the corner of Madeira Road and Ashley Road. There are windows at from about 1.2 meters in height is the bottom part of the window up to about, and then the windows themselves are about 1.5 meters, and the width of the building. They've been boarded over. Transfers, i.e. safety film, will be put onto the windows. So if you're walking past, you cannot see it. And then
what will be on the transfers?
It would be just the name of the premises, or the and the rest is blank. That's it.
Okay, and the name of the premises being?
Prime time slots.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. First of all, can I just confirm that the information that you provided in the agenda item Appendix 1, other than the application to the local authority, did you submit all of that to the Gambling Commission in your application? So it's basically the plan showing the premises and your risk assessment. So was all that part and parcel of your application to the Gambling Commission for your licence?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Second question, how do you propose to promote this self-exclusion? Now, I have read up about it, but my concern is that it's, you know, say I was somebody who felt I was in a position of vulnerability, I would have to come to you. Now, what concerns me is that you know what men are like when it comes to going to the doctors. You know, we put it off and put it off. So it just concerns me that, you know, whilst you're promoting that, how are you going to deal with that in the actual premises?
So that was down to the individual training on all the staff. My background was in licensing, the licensing trade, hospitality, and I liken it to when you're in a bar and someone's had too much to drink, or someone is looking like they're drinking too much too quickly. The same with this. We are promoting an entertainment venue rather than a gambling venue, if that makes sense. The staff will be trained to have sight of everybody. So where they'll be located within, because it's a small venue, they will be able to keep an eye on the people when they're within the premises. So if someone is gambling too much, the staff will be trained to advise that, like with drinking, enough's enough, time to stop. They'll be asked to leave the premises. So self-exclusion will be then, leaflets will be provided to them. So I think it's important that these things are with the staff. It's not just the staff turn up to work, open the doors, and that's it. They will be trained on the identification side of it and for the self-exclusion side of it, and identifying people who are gambling too much. And also, so the self-exclusion, sorry to reiterate, is part of a online thing called the Boomerang, where they'll be registered, and other venues could be able to see it as well.
I did read up on the Boomerang as well. What you say, you know, obviously your staff will keep an eye on, you know, the customers, but will you have or will you be able to identify how much money they're actually spending? What I liken it to, and I don't mind admitting that I do partake into the lotto, but there is a limit, you know, and you can't spend money above that limit. Now that's obviously there for a purpose, you know, but it's different between, you know, if you've got somebody walking in, you know, how will you control how much money they actually put into the machines? Because it's all by cards mostly nowadays, isn't it?
I think this is down. It's the staff doing their job correctly as well, and us doing our job correctly. we have to do our job correctly, because otherwise we won't have a gambling license. And without a gambling license, we cannot operate. So we have to be responsible. We have to train the staff correctly. Otherwise, we will not have a premises. So I understand what you're saying, but with this size venue, and this size venue was chosen on purpose. So the staff will walk around the premises, offering drinks, which is soft drinks. And by doing that, we can monitor the people within the venue at all times. If someone's in there, it's no bit smaller than this room, so it'd be easy to monitor the people rather than in a casino, a bingo hall, or something like that, where they could go and they're not monitored. So I believe because the venue is such a size, the staff will be able to monitor more accurately and correctly.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Howell.
Yeah, I'd just like to ask a bit about how the machines work, because it's a long time since I played. Well, I've never really played those kind of adult slots. So, yeah, I hadn't appreciated that it's all done on card now. So, is the way the machine is set up? Is it set up so that the money that is put on the card stays essentially within the machine, so that whatever algorithm that you're using to strip out a percentage for your profit, leaves in the machine, the balance, so that if somebody has played that machine a lot without a payout, then there's more money in that machine to be paid out? Or does it just exist on a general algorithm that only allows a certain amount to be, so that in that instance you just make more money the more that somebody played it, and there wouldn't be like a bit of money building up in the machine to be paid out?
May I ask Jordan to answer this question?
Sorry. So the machines are all metered, so we can keep track on each individual machine, and they have a percentage payout on them. So they are set between, sort of, depending on stake level, they're set between 80 to 90% payout to player. If, as you said, if someone plays it and loses, then the money doesn't come automatic to us. The machines, as you said, algorithm will go to the next player. That's how the machines work. So the machine's not retained in profit; it's returned to player.
It's the same principle as
exact same
as
principle
it used to be
across
of coin.
across all
So-
individual machines.
So in that case, I mean, how do you handle situations where somebody feels that they have ownership of the machine and they put a lot of money in it and they feel that they're due a payout, and you are looking at them potentially as somebody that has put too much money in, and it seems to be a conflict there, but potentially that person's going to get angry and say, you can't take me off this machine because I'm due. I don't want the next person to come along and take my money.
I mean, yeah, that's an issue that is across the whole of gambling. Again, if they put in too much money, and we would then advise for the self-exclude. If they're an uncomfortable amount, we would have advised them to sort of take that route. But there is nothing we can do if they get to that point. If they feel they put too much in, it's just to really, advise them about safe gambling, really, isn't it? So not to get to that point of putting in too much money.
Yeah, I mean, from what you've described, that would almost seem to be unfair on the gambler, because if they're going to keep putting the money in, the 90% would come back to them, and we would never less than they might do if they were forced to stop.
Yeah, well, we would never force them to stop, but it's keeping them safe. So they can continue to play on the machine as long as they. Yeah.
It's a balance, because if you encourage the person to carry on gambling, then you're encouraging someone who could potentially lose their money on the side of chasing a win. If they say they want to go and get some more money out of a cash point down the road, as we won't have cash points on the premises, they'd have to leave the venue to go get the money, which would then create an obstacle for them to maybe go, oh, hold on a minute, I do want to stop. I'll take a break. So it's a balance, and that's the question throughout the country in that way.
Okay, just one final question to tidy that up. So you say that it returns 90%. Over what cycle period would it return that? Because I could see if you say it returns that 90% over a week, for example, then somebody's not going to stay there on for a week. But if it's programmed to return it in half a day, then that gives a much more incentive for somebody to stay on that machine for half a day. So
that's set by the manufacturer of the machine, isn't it? So they control that. We don't control that, unfortunately. So that's in each individual manufacturer has different sort of algorithms of payout.
It's on the amount of the volume of the money rather than the time scale.
Yeah.
So if a machine was played once in a week, it wouldn't be the same as if a machine was played 10 times during the week. So but it's a manufacturer-led algorithm, not led by us.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. I've just been reminded that the CCTV and together with the Challenge 25 is not actually in the mandatory conditions. So are you happy for those points to be included in the mandatory conditions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Macro, did you have any questions for the applicant at all?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Can you just clarify the amount of slot machines in the venue?
Yeah, so there will. I will find the.
Oh.
So there. So there are 20, and there are 10 tablets that are also available. And it's also important to reiterate as well that the 80% of the machines are of the lower, by the gambling commissions, this is the law, they have to be of the lower rated, lower jackpot machines and the lower paper play, and 20% of the jackpot machines.
Can I just ask the applicant, is that the plan at page 22 of the report?
Yes, that's correct.
Can I just add that I seem to think that the category of the models that you are proposing are set by the Gambling Commission, and the limits and everything are set in law.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and that forms part of our gambling policy, because that's where I saw it. There's a list of the categories and the stake value, and yeah, okay. So thank you for that.
Just for clarity, looking at the plan, I'm just putting it out there for understanding. The Cat C machines are the machines that could be in a pub. So there is not an authorization, but you can have up to, some machines in pubs, as we all know, and the Cat C machines that are showing in here would be the type of the category that are permitted in a pub, just for information.
Thank you.
Can I ask clarity?
Question from legal.
It was just to the licensing officer in relation to that. So the Cat C that are on the plan, you're saying would be in alcohol licensed premises. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So do they then need a separate gambling licence as well?
there is an automatic permission granted if you have an alcohol license to two machines within that setting, at Cat C or Cat D. So not the Cat B machines, but the Cat C or D are permitted in pubs in low numbers, but yes, permitted.
Then we'd have different level of machines, Ellie, in clubs, because clubs have higher grade machines.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that, you know, there's different categories depending on what type of venue you're going to be running.
Yeah, thank you. Do you have any further questions, Councillor?
Not at the moment, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, may I just say about, sorry, the category B machines are the machines that you find in like your social clubs, your members clubs.
Thank you for that. Right, if there are no further questions, I'll move on then to the objectors. Councillor Macro, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee. Yes, my name is Sandra and I'm a ward councillor for Newtown and Heathlands, and I'm also representing Marion Le Pudvin and Miliel from Newtown and Heathlands, and also Oliver Waters, who is in the ward of Penhill, where this venue is applying. As you stated that you've put in the application because of the Penhill ward, it is relevant to bring it to the committee's attention of Newtown and Heathlands ward, because the actual boundary of Penhill is on the site of your proposed premises, and Newtown is on the other side of Ashley Road, and you have included pubs, and you've actually included the Churchill pub, which is in our ward, and as far as I'm aware, that you've also included the Victoria Cross, but I didn't see the Barking Cat, which is also in Newtown and Heathlands ward, and also the Conservative Club, which is nearer to the proposed venue, which is on Penhill side. I've got some just points written down because I didn't want to have a script to read out, but I've done my research and I've ticked what you've said about regarding the two machines in other venues with licensing. The main thing with us as ward councillors, it is the children and the vulnerable adults, and I will say more so on the vulnerable adults, because there is a premises in Langdon Road, which is in Penhill ward. Are you aware of the oh, sorry, I apologise. Okay, so Langdon Road, I don't want to go into too much detail, but it is a home for vulnerable persons. Previously, and if I'm allowed, please stop me, Chair, if I'm saying something that is inappropriate. There was a lot of ASB issues from that premises, and there were benches in between the old bank, which was NatWest, and what was Santander, and they were removed, and that did take away the ASB element. But I believe now that there has been a change of use for this home in Langdon Road, but it still does provide for people with vulnerabilities. So regarding children, yes, as you say, you've mitigated children being able to see, but there is a park literally within walking distance, and that is the main cut through road to go to the park. There is a library on the Newtown side of the road. So I'm just going to read from what I've written actually. Yeah. So Ashley Road is a residential area, and above the retail premises are flats and bedsits. So along the whole of Ashley Road, you've got more housing down towards Branksome End and up towards Seaview End, but the main cluster of the shops every shop has flats, and many have even been extended because of being HMO use. Changes of use of family homes becoming homes of multiple occupancy, and regarding the people that would be living in those premises could be classed as vulnerable. The retail outlets, it's the changing landscape of the high street. And I'd obviously asked you the question of how many machines that there are, and you have confirmed that's 20. And if you say it's in a room this size, 20 machines, how big are they? And, you know, is there a limit of how many people are able, you know, if you've got 20 machines, 20 people, or if they bring someone else with them? Religious establishments, there's a post office very near, so lots of elderly people use the post office because there's no longer any more banks in Ashley Road. And okay, you may not be responsible for any ASB that is outside, but if certain things are happening inside that could spill over, how would that be dealt with? That's it. That is the main concern that has been raised by us as councillors, because yeah, it's the protection of our children, but more so like with our vulnerable adults, and our vulnerable adults are poor mental health, problem gamblers, the socioeconomics with unemployed people, living in a deprived area, financial difficulties, debt, and homelessness, and also low IQ, learning difficulties, under the influence of drugs, alcohol, and substances. So that's as much as I need to say at present. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Macro. Members, do you have any questions at all for Councillor? Councillor Howe.
Hello, Councillor Macro. I understand your point about people who are disadvantaged or vulnerable, who are adults who may manage to access the premises. In relation to children, they are clearly, if the applicant follows its procedures, not going to gain access to the premises. The question is whether children will be caused harm by being in the vicinity of a premises like this. And you know, we have to consider the evidence brought to us. So what evidence do you have that children are vulnerable and subject to harm in that scenario?
Okay, Chair, I make no apologies in saying this. Children may not be directly harmed, as in being unable to enter the premises, but it's the impact of adults with their gambling that can be a factor in their health and well-being. You know, if they're coming from a family where there are problem gamblers who. So how does that work?
But you mentioned that you specifically mentioned the cut through, and seems to be saying it was the presence of children, presumably, and vulnerable people accessing the part that may have an influence. So, you know, I accept you've just said that if their parents go in, and that has a generational effect and effect in the family home in terms of the culture. But do you have any evidence that just being in the vicinity on a regular basis of those kinds of premises would cause harm to children?
No, I don't have any direct evidence, but as you've also asked, what signage would be out, so children can read and they would say, what does prime slots mean?
Okay, thank you very much.
Any further questions, members? No. I'll just have a couple more questions on the balance of the objector's response to us this morning. I seem to recall when I was reading the papers that you've got a what they call a mag door we have a magnet which enables you to open and close the door as and when. So my point was, how will you basically manage the amount of customers you have at any one time in the premises? Do you have a limit in terms of the fire authority, or?
We don't have a limit at this point, but there will be a fire risk assessment done to ascertain the maximum minimum as per the licensing act. Every premises has a maximum and minimum that can be allowed in there. It's not like a pub where you could have 200 people in there, because it physically the layout wouldn't allow it anyway. From my experience of the previous fire risk assessments, it was always used to be 99 persons per one exit. There's absolutely no chance that you can ever have 99 persons in that venue anyway. So it will be relevant as per the fire risk assessment, but also relevant to the amount of machines that we have in there.
Thank you for that. And I did also notice that you're covered by the block in terms of the fire detection and alarm systems. Yeah, so
yes, yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Thank you. Right, members, I have no further questions at all. So I think I'd be happy to move on to the summing up. Councillor Macro, is there anything else you'd like to add to your presentation to the members this morning?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, it is just that concern that it was submitted with Pen Hill, and I can appreciate the reasons why, but it is a wider area, just not Pen Hill, and Ashley Road is the main draw. So, yeah, I don't know how else to explain that one.
Thank you for that. Philip and Jordan, is there anything else that you'd like to add to your presentation for the committee at all before we?
Just as an addition on the side of the vulnerable people, where the councillor brought up about the monitoring side of it. Gambling is now, you can do it on your phone, which personally I think is irresponsible, because there is zero monitoring on that unless you do self-exclude as advertised on their adverts. Whereas we have physical people there to physically watch people and to monitor the people. So you could have a child sat in their lounge with their father while they're on their phone gambling, or gambling in a monitored premises where children aren't allowed.
Thank you for that. Right. All right, I will now conclude the hearing. At the end of this meeting, the subcommittee will adjourn in private with the legal advisor and clerk to deliberate. The decision will be conveyed to you in writing as explained earlier. And I can just ask the legal advisor just to touch on the appeal decision.
Thank you, Chair. If members decide to refuse the application or attach conditions to the licence, which the applicant or other persons who made representations do not agree with, the applicant or such other persons may appeal to the Magistrates' Court, and the period of time is 21 days from notification in writing.
Thank you. There being no further business to conduct, I declare the meeting closed, and thank you for your attendance. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.